All right, what's up, folks? This one's for John Gray. Crunchy voicings. This is Peter's random piano tips number 3. So John asked for some crunchy voicings, and I love that question because I do a lot of that. So let's just take let's take a C, and I don't know, we'll go through a couple different voicing types, chord types. So let's do major 7. So if you look at a root position, right, what's going to give you crunch is your small intervals. And some other stuff, but let's put it like that. So you can get a crunch out of a major 7 just by doing that. Right? This is real pretty. This is like Bill Evans style right here. Yeah, I think that's it. And peace. So right here you can see 7, 1, 3, 5 is nice. Now that's just moving around your root position inversion, right? So you can do that with any chord type, but especially major 7 because it's giving you the half steps. But let's look a little further into some possibilities. So for me, one of the first things I do to create crunch is to add a note. So if I've got a root position major 7 here, I add the 2. Ooh, I love that sound. It's so thick. I don't know if I call it crunchy. That's thick. For me, that's like, I call this thickening the soup. So do 1, 2, 3, 5, 7. Or if you're in a 3, 5, 7, 9 shape, you can add the 6 here. So that's thickening the soup right there. So let's go ahead and apply this to like, let's see, let's go dominant 7 first. All right, so dominant 7, you can do 1, 2, 3, 5, 7. It's not super exciting, but it's possible. You go 3, 5, 7, 9, you could add the 13 in there. Again, for me, like, that's not super exciting. Dominant 7, there's some other possibilities, so we'll go there in a minute. Let's look at minor 7. So you can add the 2 in there, but that's a little bit, honestly, that's not a go-to for me. It's just a little bit, I don't know, this I'm not so crazy about. So my thickening the soup for minor 7s is the 4. 1, 3, 4, 5, 7. Right there. And same thing goes for here. Again, adding the 4. 3, 4, 5, 7, 9. I love that sound, and I use this voicing all the time. All right. So those are your primary ones for your majors and minors. 1, 2, 3, 5, 7. 1, 3, 4, 5, 7. And then in this shape, 3, 5, 6, 7, 9. And 3, 4, 5, 7, 9. So you can practice those around all 12 keys, of course, in different contexts, and that can be really helpful. Now, again, also inversions, right? So, like, especially this one. Take a look at this, right? What if you go here? That's a nice voicing of C minor 7. Honestly, I would almost never play this in my left hand just because it's real awkward to do this with these guys. But I would play this inversion of it a lot. So this is comfortable. This is your typical A and B voicings, but with all your crunchies in there, or well, with your extra soup thickener. So this is with the 4 in here, and the 4 down here. So if you want real thick soup voicings here, I think that's a good place to start. For major, looking at inversions of this, this one's nice. I might play this sometimes. I probably almost never play this. But this one, and this one. Okay, so that's adding a note into your typical 4-note chord to get some crunchy. And then there's also subtracting a note, right? So let's take a look at like a C major 7 like this. Now take out the 7 and you've got like this nice little sound here, or you can play it like this. This is nice right here. Or if you like this voicing, right, what about taking out the 5 and just playing it like this? So this is cool. And this is a really nice little crunchy shape, right? Half step plus a third, especially plus a major third, half step plus a major third. So this is great for major 7 right here. This is also great for minor chords on the 2, 3, 5. Just that for a minor chord is pretty hip, honestly. Sometimes I might play another version of that, like this on a minor chord. And sometimes I might play like that for a major chord, or I might play this for a major chord. And so now we're getting beyond just subtracting notes, and we're getting into like a wide interval and a small interval. And that for me is like really the umbrella thing about crunchiness, is that you've got small intervals combined with wider intervals. Although those soup thickeners, that's just super thick, man. There's everything, there's no wide intervals in there. But these guys like this right here, major 7 like that, 3, 7, 8, that's crunchy. Right? I like that. I like that. Minors. You can also do these kind of guys where this is not what I would call crunchy though. This is thick, but I don't know, it's a little crunchy, a little bit. So this is like your thick soup voicing, except instead of the 5 you're playing the 4. So take that 4 out of there. Then you have a second, the 4th, and the 3rd. And let's see. So on a major, another variation of that, this is kind of a Brad Meldau variation, is like this. 3, 5, 1, 2. No major 7 in there. You can put the major 7 like that. Or you could do something like that. That's real crunchy. Notice I'm using my hitchhiker thumb. But this is actually really nice. If you're coming through a chord progression, sometimes it's really nice just to come through to a straight major chord. I think I got this from Brad Meldau's recording of Monk's Dream. And he does like this kind of thing. Maybe something like that. I forget exactly what it was. Looks like that. Alright, so we've done adding notes, we've done subtracting notes, and we've done just the idea of wide interval and small intervals. So, you can get creative. Once you have a principle like wide interval, small interval, use your imagination, and you can come up with any number of things. Like sometimes when I'm playing, I'll do something like this for like a C minor, or like this, I'm just using small intervals, and I'm looking at whatever mode I'm in. So like if I'm in Dorian, I'll do something like this, or like anything that my hand might fall on, that goes with whatever I'm trying to create. Oftentimes what's leading that is melody. So I'm using the top note as a melody, right? Maybe something like that, or so now you can add crunchies on top of typical voicings, like if your left hand's playing chordal stuff like this, then you could fill in with that kind of thing. So you've got your 1, 4, 7, then 2, 3, maybe even add another note up on top like that. Maybe something like this. We've got the second here. There's so many possibilities. If you look at chordal voicing here, that can be really cool. Again, second and a fourth. Small intervals, wide intervals. So again, this is something you've got to use your imagination for, but those are some examples you can transpose. If you're looking at, say, a major 7, and you want to do something similar, maybe playing a shell, like a 1, 3, 7 in your left hand, and then something like that up on top. If you want the extra crunchy, put this guy here. So that's with your sharp 11 and your 9. Cool. So again, these are things that you need to transpose. Use your imagination. Use the principle of wide intervals, small intervals, and then when you find stuff you like, transpose it. My favorite way of transposing is around the circle of fifths, but then I also like to mix it up. So taking it up and down whole steps, taking it up and down half steps, doing minor thirds, and you could do major thirds, and then also doing random. So I have some sheets of like random 12 keys just written out, just like A, B, B flat, D, D, C, G, etc. In 12 bars, and then I'll just like go through random whatever it is. Now let's see if you're going to move this through, through whole steps. Let's say this is hard to see, right? So you really got to get control of like, okay, I'm on the 3, 7, 8, and then I've got my sharp 11 there anchoring that. So that's pretty, isn't it? There's whole steps. It's so sparkly. Arpeggiating, bring it up the keyboard, bring it down. One of the things also when I find these voicings, it's like if you think in terms of how it fits into a mode, then you can apply these kind of shapes and voicings. This isn't just a C, it's not just a C chord, right? That could be A minor. Ooh, that's cool, it's A minor. It could be like an E minor with like a flat 6. It could be a D7. Be a G major with an add 4. I don't know about that, etc. Right? So you can go through and kind of find different possibilities. For me, these kind of things sometimes show up in my comping during playing jazz. Like if I'm playing with on a more adventurous side of jazz, and mostly they show up in my composing process, composing or arranging. So if I have a melody that I'm trying to voice out, you know, I might use these kind of techniques, like let's say giant steps, right? So like, right? If I'm like, if I just grab some voicings like this, so 5, 2, 3, 7, 1 with the melody on top. Let's see. Good. There's your 5, 2, 3 again. With the 6, 7. Let's see. Yeah, I use this one here. Oops. So I could use this one here. The flat 9 and the sharp 9 in there. That's a 5, 2, 3. I like that 5, 2, 3. For major. Sometimes I just do 1, 2, 3 when I'm playing a major. 5, 2, 3. Like, what do you like better? 6, 7, 1. All right, you see what I'm saying? So if I have a melody, I could, and you could reharmonize that really easily just by shifting things around as well. I wanted to also just show you a little bit with spread out voicings. That's a good segue right here, because I was doing this guy right here. So when you get like a 10th in your left hand, you could also put the 2 like this with your thumb. And if you can't reset, you can have the 3 here with your right hand. And then, you know, you've got mostly big spread voicing, but you've got the crunch in the middle. That 2, 3 crunch is really nice. Or 3, 4 sometimes, especially on minor. So you could add the 9 up here, the 3, double the 3, or go all the way up to the sharp 11. Or add some more crunch right here with another second. So you've got a second and a second right here. Alright, now let's do this on a minor chord, E flat minor. There's your 4. There's your 2 and 3. That's really nice and crunchy. You put the 7 here. And then you can put like the 11 on top. You can also look at this as 2 sets of fifths. Fifth, 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 fifth. Put on top of each other. Major, just like that. Minors like that. This is a cool thing to, again, apply to all 12 keys. Around as the shapes change on the instrument. So chromatic is actually really good practice. Make sure you got those shapes right. And again, arpeggiating these things can be really cool. You can create all sorts of cool textures. So, you know, this is just one possibility. Once you start doing like, okay, I'm going to spread my hands out and do big spread voicings, you've got inherently, you know, some big intervals and some small intervals, especially right in here where your thumbs meet. You can do the small intervals, and then you could add small intervals on top or wide intervals. So you know, just again, use your imagination, man. So like, what about that for a major? Or just crunch it all up. Use it. There's a lot of possibilities, and I hope you have fun exploring. I hope that was helpful. Yeah, feel free to continue the conversation. If you have your own favorite way of getting crunchy voicings, anybody who's watching this, and yeah, happy practicing. I'm putting all these videos on my YouTube channel as well. So if you're looking, you know, as I start accumulating these videos, you won't be able to find them on a Facebook page, but they'll be on my YouTube channel, so you can always subscribe to that and see the videos. Peter John Stoltzman on YouTube. All right, y'all. Peace.